G'day team, how we going? It's Kaz from In the Trenches with Kaz, and I feel like I'm in the trenches now. I really do. 2020 just got worse. Depends the way you look at it. It depends how much you know. It depends how close you are to basically the potential, the worst, where things can go. Chain of command, something the Army talks about all the time, and we're going to be speaking about tonight. We've got lovely Lauren here. We've got the schooner. I really feel like one at the moment. We've got Sanchez, twice. Emma C says howdy in her Texas accent. Bryce Elliott says g'day, and g'day back to him. Elliott. Is it Elliott? Elliott. As in like E.T. El Barigo, g'day mate. Not Baracho, which means he's drunk. Australian Army tributes, let's go. Matt Man, but not a man to be walked on. Michael Stott, medic, someone needs you now. Jack Cave, we're not talking about a lady of the night. And we've got Dylan Casey. We've got Peter Cram it in, cram for exam, etc. Ben Polak. Hey Kaz, hope you're doing well. I've only been home for about 25 minutes, half an hour. I've just been speaking to Steve Bryce. But if I don't jump on now, I'm not going to be able to relax this weekend, and a whole lot has just come to the forefront. For those that don't know, you're about to find out. Ruben Oscamp, we've got Robbie Kett, the keeper of hounds, with a big heart for Lauren, not so much Kaz, and we've got Carl Janelle. G'day mate, multiple thumbs up there with the diver's sign for everything's okay. Kurt Douglas, the man who defeated the Romans. No, that was Spartacus, but he played the part. We've got old mate Paul. Everyone's got an old mate Paul. Brycey, how you going? Hit the ridge back on the back. Tell him I said g'day, mate. We've got Zane Spittles. Wipe your chin, son. We've got PK, my favourite chewing gum. Hi, Kaz and team. POTUS will be fine. The problem with that is, for those that don't know, the big guy, Orange Mad Bad. Okay, the leader of the free world, the commander-in-chief, has just been come down with COVID, him and his lovely wife. Dave D, kaboom, bam, there he goes. A man who's part of the chain of command, even if it is at the very, very bottom. Ruben, F Scarf, I love your clothing. I didn't mean to skip you, mate. But I got you there, you got me attention. Lauren is shining, as always, and looking after a puppy. We've got Hyper Scaz, you can't get more Scaz than that. We've got the iceberg that got the Titanic RB. Howdy team, hope all live and kicking, just on. And we've got Bounky. Hey Kaz, how you going mate? Good to have you here. Daniel Cherry is broken, not my fault. Black and white mechanical, can't fix that engine either. We've got Nick Smith, Smith, as they would say in New Zealand. Hey Kaz, how you going? Got me enlistment on the 3rd of November, just before the 11th of November is the day to remember, and the 12th being the official birth of my daughter. We've got Zulu Sharka. G'day mate, 2 thumbs up there. And throwing those out to one of our guys, the DAZ as well. Bryce, hey Kaz, just chilling in Gallipoli Platoon. Join a session on the 12th. Fantastic, mate. Make sure that you are careful to change your name online. Lauren is shining. Please leave a thumbs up below the screen. Thank you very much, my dear. AS, hello, sir. You must be talking to Dave D, because I was just a sergeant, and that's the way I loved it. Carl. Min Lu. Hey, hear about the SEAL gender neutral stuff? Look, I don't believe in the shit, personally, mate. But everyone to their own. I'm not in a position to be able to get anything other than annoyed by it, so I'll leave it alone. Let's jump into it, shall we? How's that? I hope that no one here is offended by this flock of hair that I have, which would be a shame to put some headphones on. Okay, so the news we're going to be talking about tonight. We've got Long Tan. Where are they at the moment? Well, they're out in the field, in the defensive operations. By now, they have had less sleep than someone feels like the police are on their tail for something that's going to put them in a jail for the rest of their life. They are in the defensive phase. 72 hours to get down to stage 3, always takes longer than that, opposed, so they can keep themselves in location, hold ground as part of seek out and close the enemy, kill or catch him this season. Hold ground. That's what they're doing right now. To repel attack by day or night, regardless of season or the terrain. Defense is also the third phase of war. We have the advance, normally into a country. Okay, then we have the attack. Then we have the defense, and then we have the withdrawal. The defense is where we actually hold the ground. And the withdrawal is when we leave Vietnam, leave Timor, leave Afghanistan, okay, leave Iraq, and whatever country we come out of. Gallipoli. Pronto. So, Long Tan, that's where they are now. They're carrying out the third phase of war. They're holding ground. Getting below ground, doesn't matter how sore your hands get, doesn't matter how bloody they get, no one cares. As a matter of fact, we might laugh if you bring it to our attention. Also, this time of the year, the tin, steel toilet seats, again, you've got to dig them in. And also the standing patrol where you can be told to go and spend the rest of your life, which might be less than 24 hours, commanded to stay, not come back. That's your mission. Stay to give time to others. That's part of what we do too. We train to stay. That's why we can afford to be a little bit arrogant when we start comparing corps and hat badges. You'll never get told to stay like we will. Chain of command. We're going to talk about that. The chain of command is something you always need to be able to step up 2 levels above the rank you are. Private, 2, full track. Corporal, section commander. Lance Jack, 2, sergeant. Sergeant, 2, CSM, RSM, etc. And the section commander will normally take the place of the platoon commander. And we'll explain a little bit more about that, why the platoon sergeant doesn't take over the platoon commander necessarily or automatically. Also, the breaking news team. Donald Trump and Melania have now been told that they have coronavirus. And that has also come out officially through their physician. What does that mean? That means the entire world is in a case of instability. And anyone that has shares on the ASX, I don't recommend have a look at them at the moment. If you don't believe that Donald Trump is the answer for everything economical in this world at the moment, the hinge pin, so to speak, the SF pin for those that are in sustained fire machine guns, then have a look what happened to the share market today. And it'll fall even further if Biden, gets at position. Now what's going to happen? Automatically, they're going to be telling the position, which is DT, Commander-in-Chief, you need to step down, you need to recover that quick. There's only a month out from the elections. This is one of those act of gods that the Democrat Party's been waiting for, and so has the red state for that matter. Okay, what's going to happen is 2IC stands up. 2IC, Mike Pence. Guess who stands up as the 3IC? You wouldn't believe it. The opposition party, Nancy Pelosi. That is a case worse than having to kiss mother-in-law on, what would you call it? Groundhog Day. Every day. Her birthday. So, team, what a twist of fate this has become. What happens? Don't know. No one knows. Not a single person on earth knows at the moment, but it will have effects. And it affects Australia too. If you're thinking this is awesome, then you're a goddamn fool. Because this affects Australia, the UK, the Five Eyes. It affects Canada, it affects Australia, it affects New Zealand as well. Economically, militarily, peace and stability. You need the best person in the job, not the person you like the most. So think with, like you're going to bet money on it. Would you bet money on Biden? Or would you bet it on the Trump? The guy that writes things like Art of the Deal. What did Biden ever do? Nothing. Except give birth to a bloody corrupt son. Being away from the people for, 40-something years. Achieved nothing. Scary times. This is a Hail Mary. And it's working potentially for the wrong people. So that means the opposition. That would be like potentially someone from the red state being the 3IC. I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You do have, if you're going to step up, you need to be competent. You know, that's the big thing. And you know what? There's something you really take for granted. Something you really take for granted when you're just a number in a platoon, in a company, in a battalion. And that is that your number might get picked and you're now the commander or something. What the hell? I didn't expect that. The private soldier can end up section commander like that. Or 2IC at least. Section commander gets injured. 2IC steps up to section commander's role. 2IC turns around and goes senior digger. Okay, or that soldier, you're now to step up and you're now in command. But I'm not ready to do that. You're being told to step up. You've got to be able to step up. Do it. Circumstances bring out lions. They do. Some of the best commanders in history have stepped up and actually ended up being the winners of the day. Scipio Africanus. He stepped up and he fought Hannibal and defeated him. First time it had been done. Yep. Couldn't have been bigger. I want to whack this on me do so I sort of have a sense of the decibels that you're hearing from me. Lurkers here. It's non-political. We're not talking about politics here. We're talking about ramifications of acts of God that are occurring. You know, I don't care who you vote for. I really don't. There's only one normal vote. Yeah. Anyway, Aaron, how we going, mate? For those guys and girls that don't know, I woke up this morning down 20 Patreon members. Don't know what happened. The new month, I don't know what's going on there. And about 30 messages waiting. Everyone knows I've been away for 5 days with my daughter. Fantastic. Newcastle. Today, but she said, Dad, you know, this is one of those times you need to prove to me that you're that guy. That you can do the hard yards. 16 degrees at the ocean bars. Kaz had to dive in. You know, the face that I pulled off, you know, she looked at me like I needed a 3IC. 13 command. And then we got stuck in the drive from Newcastle back to Sydney. It's only 178 kilometres. Guess how long it took? Steve Bryce, you're not allowed to say, because you know. That's not Fletch there, is it? Fletch? Is that Vicky or Fletch? Fletch, you can't be back yet from defence. That's not a good sign. Defence goes for more than 5 days. All right. Not so cow. Here we go.
Not so cold. Not so cold.
I accept.
There you go. We've got a blue cow in there straight away. Guys and gals, the defence is the hardest you're ever going to work because it's normally to a whip crack of a timeline. This needs to happen straight away. And I tell you what, we're never digging in golf courses and we're never digging on a beach. You know, it's always bloody terrible. And your hands, honestly, it's like probably hitting 100 sixes. You know, not that I've ever done that, but then again, neither's Don Bradman. So Fletcher's going to do that, but the hard thing is that's a softener. And then you come off and then you do your hardcore. And when you do hardcore, if you finish that, I'm a little bit sceptical about the standards required at this stage because I've seen and heard some things that have distressed me with the dropping of standards because of multiple factors that you can probably guess that I'd want to talk about. But it's just not the test it used to be to get the droid that you're looking for, to get the best person for the job beside you. But that's not going to be an issue, you know, for someone like Fletch, who is traditionally the best guy on the ground. So to Fletch, I'm just looking for, there it is, bam. And that's what it's all for, the Skippy Badge. If he gets that Skippy Badge, it's going to be fantastic. Then him and Vicky, they head up somewhere and then they start the rest of their lives together. Fantastic. So, Aaron, 5 hours. It took 5 hours to drive from Newcastle to Sydney today. Yep, to Penrith. 5 hours. Out of control. You know, this guy was raging. And what makes it worse is my aircon's down in the IX35. 9-year-old Hyundai that I'm in at the moment while I get ready to upgrade to a camper van, which was all blown like a fart in a perfume shop, you know, when this COVID came around. So, yeah, tough times. So 5-hour drive, not to mention, let my battery go flat while I was talking to one of the subscribers the other day, and also one of my workmates, and one of the better friends of Lauren, and my battery went flat. 400 nicker to get that done, and also to get the roadside assistance from NRMA. So that meant I came back where you can't use your radio or any of your accessories either. until you get it remapped by Hyundai, which we all know is a cash in the bag scam by Hyundai, because if you haven't got your code, and I don't have my code anymore for my handbook, they reckon it takes an hour to pull the radio apart, to pull it out, to find the number to go back. Yeah, bullshit. You've got a default number, you punch in there, and you keep the $70 that you charge for a sucker that pays it. Roosters to win. Who are they playing? My dad thinks I'm watching Poseidon when you play that video. G'day to your old man. Fletch, thanks. Lauren sucks on the tail end of it. Should be getting discharged from hospital. Fletch, what the hell's going on? I've only been getting good news while I'm away. Fletch, I'm sorry, mate. What the hell's going on? Because if you miss field, you're done. Is this going to affect you in your number one place at the School of Infantry? From the hat badge? What have you done to yourself? Ronnie Middleton. Hey, Kaz, how's it going, mate? Keep up the good work. Say hi to Judd for me. Judd. Juju? I don't know who you're talking about, mate. Sorry, I was just being honest with you. Yeah, Aaron. I don't know whether to be angry now because I'm home. A 5-hour trudge in a vehicle when it's only 178 kilometres is a long time. I only had one warm Coke to keep me company too, and I listened to some YouTube channel my daughter was listening to the entire way. How long would the drive normally take? Around 3 hours there, Carl. Give or take. Give or take from Stockton to Penrith, about 3 hours. The traffic's never really good. Can be 4 lanes, mate, and it can still be going 5 kilometres an hour. It's atrocious. Pneumonia, Kaz. Oh, shit. So there's a classic example. The Commander-in-Chief of Long Tan Platoon struck down. Who stepped up to take your place on the podium? Shit. How long are you out for there, Fletch? Let us know. That's no good. You can't listen to anything there, Kempy. You can't listen to anything because what's going on when the accessories go down, you got to remap your radio after a battery goes flat like that. So that's one of the problems with having the modern technology, even though it's sort of 9 or 10 years old. Flubberdubby and friends. Flubberdubber and friends. Hey, Kaz. G'day, mate. How you going? Great to have you here. The perfect banjo. How's it going? What does a perfect banjo look like? Has it got one string? I could probably play that. News from you guys. What's going down? Cameron Rowbottom. G'day, mate. Guys and gals, just so you know as well, because I've only basically just got back, I didn't have my phones on me pretty much for the last 4 or 5 days because I was with my daughter and I'm sick of the phones coming before her. So we done some really lovely things, watched some nice TV shows like Poltergeist. Okay, watch Titanic. We both laugh as the people fall from the top of the ship and hit the steam stacks on the way down. It's our favourite bit. Yeah, but it was great. Hey, Scotty Byrne, how you going, mate? Look at that. We've got our first member for the night. This one's for you, mate. That's an Adelaide. That's an Adelaide
Feed him a
housewife.
mother-in-law. That should make him happy. Welcome, calamari.
That's the Adelaide housewife for you, mate. If you go to Adelaide and put on Tinder that you've got a job, you'll see why. The Kraken will come out. Mike Ledger, hey, is anyone in southeast Queensland training for infantry? Probably a fair few, mate. Probably a fair few. But you got to do the hard work yourself, Mike. Just like when you go for SF, they expect you to do the hard work by yourself, because if you need someone else to train with quite often, what that can do is it can stop the evolution of maturity of you knowing how to push yourself individually. So set yourself a goal, set yourself a routine, okay, that you stick to regardless of hail, weather, or rain, hail or shine, and you should be good. What's Emma up to? Nick, g'day mate, how you going? Nick Arvella. Emma C, I've got a 4 to 5 hour drive tomorrow. Personally driving 1.5 on Alice going rural and won't be on the stream next week. Emma, you go and live life, mate. You're going to have a great time and take some photos on your phone while you're there. Right? Because when you take a photo, it becomes permanent. You end up remembering that forever. It's like a RV in your mind. And by the way, team, one thing I did do last night, I got as itchy as a South Australian hooker, but I laid down the salt bush and got some photos of the flowers and the full moon off Stockton Beach. It was absolutely amazing, beautiful, a spectacle. And I'll do some work on those over the weekend and see how they come out. And young Darcy, one of the surfers up there from Stockton, now turned photographer. Amazing. It was great to see him again too. Ryan Oplis is here. G'day, muddy. How you going? You must be getting bloody close to a section commander's rank there. Let's go back to talking about the chain of command, for example. We saw with Donald Trump, then it goes to Pence, then it goes to their enemy, which is Nancy Pelosi, which is not about the US at all. It's about power, Democratic Party, never doing the right thing, and she's proven that while she eats her teeth in the back of every meeting she's at. We just saw with Felix the cat too. He just fell out of the running for probably what was going to be close to student of merit after getting student of merit at Kapooka. Now, when we have a platoon, remember in a platoon there's a platoon commander. We'll use Dave D for an example now, the officer, the commander on the ship, so to speak, the captain, lieutenant. And then he's got a platoon sergeant. Under them they've got 3 section commanders, or 4 if they've got the standard infantry battalion weapons section in there. And then under them they've got 2 ICs, which is the single stripe guys, lance corporals. And then you've got the private soldiers, and some of them can be very close to being senior as it is. Well, what happens is, if an officer was to go down, and we actually read down and physically tell you in orders what the chain of command is going to be should something happen. So when it does happen, there's no need to argue. You were told, now carry that out, right? But people automatically think that it's a platoon sergeant's job to jump in and do the platoon commander's role when it's not. As a platoon sergeant, I would grab the depth commander, which is quite often the senior section commander, right, as we patrol towards an objective, a threat, okay, the mission, and I'd grab him by the scruff of the neck and I'd push him up and say, you're now the platoon commander. Step up. And he'll have been at all the tactical orders groups as it is with the platoon commander, night orders, etc. And I'd still then retain the platoon sergeant position. Otherwise, what it is the platoon sergeant now trying to do the platoon commander's position, while someone steps up and do the platoon sergeant's position, while someone then steps up and does the 2IC or section commander's position. So all we need to do is stuff around one section. Grab one guy and, like the platoon commander, the platoon sergeant's hands up his ass, sort of telling him what to do in the first place and helping him to right the wrongs, to steer the ship, so to speak. Not trying to do his job for him, just letting him know you do what you reckon is the role to do, and let's have a powwow, my hand on your shoulder, to help you in the tough times so I can make a decision, war game, and get a success. Green tick, swipe right, whenever we can. So don't assume the platoon sergeant drops his shit and moves over to platoon commander. Doesn't want the job either. If you're in the depth section commander, you should be in the position where you can take up that role. Right? What happens if the dad gets crook, hurts his foot, stands on a stubby, mum drives the car? Right? Or if mum's the driver, then dad drives the car if he hasn't had too much to drink. But the kid never steps up unless they're over 17. Mr. P just popped in to have a look around, team, lurking to see what the vibe is, but going back to family room with the bunch and watch footy. Yeah, awesome, mate. Mr. P, well done. Enjoy that footy, that family time. Get it going, you patriarch. Hi, bye, Mr. P, says Lauren. Fletch, sucks, mate. Great week as 2IC. Urban, then woke up Monday morning fever, equal pneumonia. Have a report to RAP Tuesday, Monday, long weekend, and go from there. Adapt no PT for a week. Could end up at Gallipoli platoon square one. You'll get back squatted, mate. I don't like to say that to you, but you don't get to stay out of field for 48 hours and then go back and retain. If you were out normally 48 hours during an assessment period, that's normally see you later, did him out, go back. Otherwise, what it does, it opens up for malingerers, or for people to get out without actually having the C beside their name meaning competent or complete, or what it can do is water down the actual participation of a member in the earning of their own Skippy Badge, mate. So, dude, that's grief. That's a really tough one. But you did win the Xbox. Lauren knows that. I know that. The channel knows that. You know, you got lovely Vicky there. I just don't know how you get the morale back, mate, knowing that your boys are going to come back and be doing, you know, their hands held high, woo, getting their Skippy Badges, while you can hear the drums of them marching out from where you're sitting. But you and I will have a conversation. We'll get you through that, mate, and I've got a lot of people through that exact situation. And you know what happens? Bad shit always happens to good people for some reason. Stoddy, I had 3 months that felt like a week, relatively. Lauren, was that pneumonia? Mr. Bryce, talking about a pooch at the moment. Another dog. Sounds great. Dogs seem to be the word of the street at the moment for most. Aaron Mills, if get going, I'll get going, team. Still pumped from my passing assessment day. Have a good long weekend, guys and gals. And Aaron, I saw your message too. You know, I've got like 20-something messages. But if I start looking at them, what happens is, if I look at it and read it and don't action it, then that means I can miss it. So what I do is I get on there and I do a triage and I snap onto your messages. And then from there I answer those so I can put them to bed and get on to the next person so everyone gets what they deserve. A thorough answer to the message that I request. No worries, Fletch, just hang in there, mate. And if you can, he's not there. Josh, I'm going to need to ring him up tomorrow too to make sure he's okay. Mr. P, before I go the chain of command, the buck always stopped with me. I'll give you one hint, team. No one is important enough that they matter. If you're in the military, not one of you is important enough that matters. Okay? If our job, our career, our role, if it is so crucial on one person, then we are bound to fail because we've just made a weak point, something that can be targeted. Command, control, communication, they're three things we can attack. Someone's command, boom, their rank structure. Okay, their control, right? We can already do that. You know, we can already attack our own control, right? By not adhering to SOPs, TTPs, by not rehearsing what we do, by not having no sort of conscious cohesion towards the way we train. You know, communication, attacking communication, electronic warfare, right? By putting ourselves in positions where we can't use ground wave, we've got to use HF, you know, or skywave, etc. Grimmick, I was back squatted at Puckapunyal. Sucked. Yeah, man. No one can get you ready for back squatting. Yeah. Not that it's never happened to me, but I've seen it so many times and it sucks. It takes the soul out of someone. But you meet new mates, yeah, you do. And now I'm at the unit with my old mate, and I was meant to go through Pucka with. It's like a girlfriend, you know, or a boyfriend, you know, for the sailors out there. You think you're never going to get another one. You think, oh, shit, that was me best mate. Well, Army's not about best mates. Army's about the person beside you making friends with them and they become your best mate, your colleague, your comrade, regardless of gender, religion, colour. You know, it's democracy. No, it's not democracy. It's goddamn communism. It is. You don't have a say in what happens, you know, but you do get along because you need each other. You honestly need each other. It's like going back several thousand years when someone says now, I don't care what people think. You go, well, that meant you would have got killed a few thousand years ago because you wouldn't have got fed. Look what happens when a male lion or a female lion gets outcast from a pride. Normally die not long after that. Because you don't have the collective skills that make small problems or big problems small problems. Eating. Okay, you're a little bit sore at the moment. Your mates will go out there and catch that food. If it's you by yourself, you're done. The only reason why that's not a big deal today, where I don't care what people think, is because you're not earning the money yourself most of the time. You're being fed by the state. Mike Ledger. Carl, thanks for giving me some insight to your training. I might add some that to my training. Whatever you do, Mike, you know, we're a team, man. Now, I will take advice. I never stop learning. That's why I have the guys and gals in blue. That's why when most subjects I talk about, I'll talk to Dave. I'll talk to Lauren, Mr. P, Mr. Bryce, Michael Stott, JC. Is JC here tonight? I got my posting orders through 1RR. That'll change now, mate. That'll change, Fletch. That's on the provisor that you pass, mate. So see what happens there. You are just destined for great things, Fletch. We have a lot of faith. Yeah, this is a speed hump. That's all it is. Fletch is going to be blue or black. If he goes to 2nd Battalion, Royal Australian Regiment, this might open up a door for 2RR that he didn't expect. Fletch, so much love here. Keep those blue hearts off. Bloody Fletch has turned a Navy as he's been in longer. What else we got? Grimmick. After Kapooka back squatting at Pucker, then COVID assist in Melbourne after a year finally at my unit. That's a lot. But it's better than being bored. Brycey, Fletch, 1RR. You must want to fondle Seppi. That's the Shetland pony there, mate. 6RR brothers by choice. You can go to Brisbane if you want. I don't know why you'd want to. The only thing is try to hang on to his Long Tan. Other than that, it's a base full of civilians. Go to Townsville where you're going to get tested by other battalions, right, as well as the environment. Lauren, haven't seen him. I hope he's okay. Sonate, what's Pucker? Pucker Punyal, mate. It's down at Victoria. It's a shithole. But all army training areas are. They're not based around great real estate. Stoddy, Mr. Bryce, you don't fondle Seppi. Seppi fondles you. This is a point. He bit me once. Well, nearly. Tried to. Mr. Bryce, you may be lucky Fletch end up in 6. That's not lucky to go into 6RR. Sorry, 6RR guys. Fletch, that's true, Kaz, but I'm going to keep hoping. That's it, mate. It's Australia Day every day. What a fantastic name. Vice President, then Pelosi. It's true, mate. It's true. And you don't reckon that's putting Pence in the bloody in the firing line now? He may have to. He will get tested too. Because it's not like he can just say, Mr. Trump, okay, no, I'm actually going to do my job from behind closed doors. They're just not going to let that happen because they have to protect the office, which is, the Commander-in-Chief, etc. I don't know what's going to happen. Don't forget Derripet. Yep. Kempy Thorn, 5RR is in Robinson Barracks with no wind and horrid hot weather. That's just the same as 3RR. They're trapped in the back in the horseshoe of Laverick Barracks. Fine battalion, but location, they don't get it so much as a sailor's fart, of wind over their area, and they've got Black Rock to their rear. Yaros, always think of a kebab when I see your name pop up, mate. Finger licking good. Cookie Monster. Melbourne's not too far away from Pucker. Yeah, but you don't join the army to go to a nightclub, or go to somewhere that's completely closed down. You go somewhere for a military career, and the last place you want to go for a military career is Pucker. Or Watsonia, where you're a civilian in military uniform pretty much. Mr. Tree, hey Kaz, hypothetical here. If America goes to, do you think Australia will tag along? Yes, we're part of the Five Eyes, mate. Mr. Tree, we're part of it. But guess what? You've got the least warlike president there's probably been in American history which is the reason why I don't understand why so many people are for BLM, but at the same time, their number one policy is abortion. Doesn't make sense to me at all. Okay, I'm sure the computer's listening to me now. Cookie Monster. Melbourne's not too far away from Pucker. Still a shithole, Cookie Monster. There you go. Mr. Bryce, Derripet will soon be part of 6RR's battle honours. Yep. Maybe. Pucker's next door. Graydon Gaunt. So what happened at Pucker? What happens at Pucker? Look, Pucker's not that bad. It's not that bad unless you've got your father's looks. Okay? Pucker is for mostly non-arms corps people, support people. No, that's bullshit. Because it's for arms corps, it's for armoured corps, it's for artillery. And they go down there. Engineers go to Steel Barracks, Sydney. But what happens is they've got a really big training ground there at Puckapunyal when you can actually get on the ranges. And that's where they do their IETs, like the School of Infantry does theirs at Singleton in the wine district. That's why I always get nervous when a fire starts down there, that we don't end up burning down a couple of 100-year-old vineyards. But, not aviation. The Puckapunyal is where Armoured Corps training their vehicles down there, tanks, armoured vehicles, labs, etc. And there's also that for artillery. All three used to use the Singleton range as well in combined arms. Never seen a tank there other than the ones that got hit with a javelin. None of my friends like Pucker. It's a training establishment. They all wish they all went to RAF. Yep. Well, why wouldn't you? It's the best corps. You know, the only things you've got to clean is your rifle and your teeth. You've just got to get there and you'll be laughing. Robbie Kent, the keeper of hounds. Pucker's the School of Armour. Yep. And artillery. Grimmick. Armoured Corps, best corps. Don't agree, but I'll let you have second place. Google should answer your questions about the Five Eyes. Yeah, we can't talk about it on air, team. We'll get whacked by the algorithm. Let's just say it's Canada, England, okay, New Zealand, Australia, USA. James Brown, he feels good. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Yeah, I agree, James Brown. And so do the majority of people in the USA. I think transport's a pucker as well. Cookie Monster. Yep, they definitely do, Cookie Monster, and we get our streams shut down all the time depending on what we say, or even sometimes what you guys say. You love the Bushmaster. All it is a protected mobility. But it's not like it used to be when we were serving, when you'd be enclosed down APCs in 40-degree heat, getting up towards 60 degrees, depending on where you are, sucking in diesel fumes with a helmet on your head that you've been told to wear, you know, despite the fact that, you know, I was there when Captain Casey was killed in the accident that caused all this to occur. But even when we're sitting down, we're supposed to wear helmets while the people that were the commanders were smoking in the back of the APC. You're going, we're not getting enough bloody diesel fumes, let alone a durry getting held near your face while you're getting seasick on land. Great and Gaunt. Feeling good, folks. Finished Muay Thai to find Kaz and Fam on live. Do they facilitate martial arts in the regiment? You can do it in your spare time, mate. We've always got a few ninjas in every battalion. You know, do we need it in our job? Nah. But, you know, they encourage it. You know, anything to do with controlled aggression is a good thing for the soul, for the warrior spirit, you know, for hardening, for toughness. It's all good for fitness, of course. You know, the army encourages you to have almost everything except a drinking, what would you call it? A drinking, routine, no. You know what I'm talking about. We used to drink 4 times a week. Stupid. You know, you could be in Townsville in 1 2 3 You could be in trucks. You could be in APCs or Armoured Corps. You could be in engineers. You could be in artillery, signals corps, whatever. And every weekend you could be going and diving on the Yongala, but you're not. You're hitting the piss in thongs at the Seaview. You know, you could be bloody rappelling off Mount Stewart if you wanted, forward rappel, but you're not. Okay, you're at the pub, you know, getting on the piss. Okay, you could be doing anything. You could be jumping, you know, getting your free fall ticket. You know, you could be dragon boat racing. But what do? We just put our bloody faces in a stubby and watch our lives go like that. So don't make that mistake, team. Because is there an average penis length need for SASR? I think it's 6.5 inches, the same as mine, mate. That was the base entry, so to speak. Dave D, what are the best approved boots to replace issued? I don't know, mate. I put them on if they fit. I wear them out, and then I get another pair. Yeah. I was never a gear nut, mate. But I did take my umbrella everywhere I went, and people think that's a joke before they get in and go to a battalion. The actual umbrella, when you're in the chain of command and you're going to go and listen to orders, and you turn up with a notebook and pen in the rain, and you don't have anything to cover over it, you get looked at like you're an amateur. You take the little brolly, put it over there. You can use it at night time as well, under a hoochie, okay, or create like a little cocoon hoochie for yourself, so you can actually drown out the light and use that for writing orders, for having dry notebook paper, etc. If you're not using wax paper, good to go. Jocko has a good podcast. Yeah, he does. 6-3 Yankee. Mr. Bryce Tour are showing the Navy how to do the job. Well, the Navy have never done that job, so. Where are we? Scotty Byrne. Hey, Kaz, always wanted to join the ADF, but let life get in the way. I'm turning 28 soon. It's not too bad. It's not too old. And been a mechanic for 10 years. Have I left it too late? No, you haven't. Want to get in through the armoured vehicle crew. There's not a better thing for you to join, mate. If you're mechanically minded and you go to Armoured Corps, they'll love to have you there, mate. Love it. And you know what? Every battalion is now mechanised and motorised anyway, except for the 2nd Battalion Royal Australian Regiment, second to none. So almost anyone would be happy to have you. But you also don't want to be around 18-year-olds in infantry who are talking about the first time they swiped right or got swiped right. Right? So I'd go to the smaller groups you're used to working in and go to Armoured Corps, and I reckon you'd be happy. If not, if they don't take your second choice for that one, for someone with probably gorilla hands like yourself from using the shifter too often, would be maybe even Intelligence Corps. Start using this one to sort out the problems instead of this one. Just something to throw in there, Scotty. Umbrellas are awesome, they are, mate. Having a mechanic background is good for that role. It's good for any role, really. Iron Wolf's dad. Hey, Kaz, how you been? Just had an online assessment session. Got one more on Monday. Iron Wolf, I don't know how they get away with these, having these sessions via online. It's, how can they trust it? You know, if I knew I was doing an aptitude test and I was a bit nervous about aptitude test, you'd think you'd have someone like a sniper through the gauze in the background, with just their eyes sticking out. B. It's B. Unless your mum doesn't want you to get in and she's calling C. There's always the token tech guy in a team. Yep, that dude that spends all his bush pay on new Gerber or other tactical stuff, and then you can buy it off them on an off-pay week. What happens to all that gear when they get out? Don't know. Do you have any book recommendations? Sumaya? I do. It's Raymond E. Feast, Magician. I asked Lauren, would she consider making part of her channel, Lauren is Shining, all about reading by chapter Magician, about Pug and Thomas. Pug's the magician, Thomas the warrior. Fantastic book. A really good one. There's about 10 after it. You'd love it if you want to get taken for a journey. Lauren, if you join the Patreon, Cameron, you'll get access for Kaz's bat phone. Whack, there it is. Iron Wolf's dad, 100%. I'm not sure what that was in answer to. Blacksmith's mechanic. Scotty, I am the same, 31 mechanic. I'm currently working on my weight, then hopefully apply before I'm 32. All right. Bat phone is for Patreon users, and I think paid subscribers. It's for Patreon users, mate. Yep. Because a lot of people that come onto the Patreon is either to assist what we do for people in the streets, so to speak, but it's also for people that are trying to join the military but want that one-on-one line, but otherwise also want to be silent, so that we've got lurkers on here too that come on here, join on here. We have that conversation. We keep that below the radar, you know, because some people don't want to be seen also here in the text, so to speak. We've got a lot of outliers, team. Yeah, we do. 6-3 Yankee, not so much. They have the same ideas as everyone, but just like the newest and coolest stuff. There's always gearheads. Cameron says, yeah, I paid for membership that says it's got bat phone access, but if it's only on the Patreon, then just get off to there I go. Do what you have to do there, Cameron. Do what you have to do. Yep. All officers candidates, real aptitude test. Look, I'm going to run this one, boys, for a second, team. Remember when we do this Patreon, we do this to help other people. We had, up until a few days ago, 175 people on Patreon. If every person, if I got to speak to the people that are members as well, there won't be conversations with anyone. Have you got over 200 hours a week that you can give to people having telephone calls and then do everything you have to do on top of that? No, it doesn't work that way. Sorry, guys and gals. I'm the one that gets excited when we talk. I'm the one that ends up on there too long. We have people on the bat phone sometimes who can't get me off. Don't think in the gutter. Because there is so many great people. I wish you got to have some of the conversations I get by the people in our channel. There is a bell curve. It is insane, some of the people that are on here. Whether it be Daz, who's getting an operation, was meant to get an operation today, even had written on his arm, not this arm, the other one, just so they wouldn't botch it up. We've got fathers, we've got serving members, we've had ex-serving members. We've got all sorts of individuals. It's an absolute privilege for me. I didn't realise what I was starting, and it's been fantastic. By the way, Carpy, Jungulam is one of my favourite books. I've never heard of that. Jungulam. Is that horror? Stickman. I'd bring it back if the army was bigger. I'm not sure what that one's about. Anything he wrote is great. Who gets time to read books these days? It's crazy. It's about giving back the cost of a cup of coffee is nothing, guys. Fletch, I barely even have time to speak to my missus. I spoke to your missus, mate. She was a nice lady. Imagine 200 people trying to grab your attention. I bet there's some weirdos. There is. And that's something we never talk about. There definitely is some outliers there as well. But that can be entertaining. My fastest 2.4 run was 8 minutes 40. Okay, but my fastest 5 kilometre run was 17 something. And I was a choco, funny enough, then. And my fastest 10 kilometre time was 36 minutes, right? It's funny, you seem to just bring your time down over a longer distance when you think you actually get slower, but not necessarily. Hey, Mr. Bryce, I just want to make up for the people who have dropped from Patreon. It's okay, mate. It's okay. It's all right. It's all right. Ebbs and flows.
I accept.
It's funny you put that colour on there, Mr. Bryce, because at the moment I actually feel like a sautéed Kaz. I was in the sun a bit too long today, got into the water, 16 degrees. It was freezing. I am getting weaker as I get older, I tell you what, mate, I do. And Mr. Bryce has got his home to himself and his hound until Tuesday. So he gets his rest, his boys come back as part of school holidays, and then he gets to just knuckle down and be the best dad he possibly can. So what I'd say to you, mate, is get that rest, kick the feet up, throw your pants off, and treat yourself to the next 3 days of no cleaning, just kebabs and Coca-Cola, even if it's warm. And, mate, celebrate in your own time. Go on. Daz, here he is. Funny story with my arm, Kaz. I'll tell you on the bat phone when you're not busy, but it was entertaining to see the least. Daz, true that. I started pissing myself laughing, mate, when I saw the picture of your arm with the pen on it, and then I saw there's been frivolities, and I can't wait to find out what's going on. G'day, Stubbs. How you going, everyone? We've had some bad news here. Fletch, one of our, what would you call it? One of our, not elite. That's rubbish when you're a trainee. Okay, one of our hottest prospects, our far lap, so to speak. Fletch. 8 minutes 40. That's solid, Kaz. Same as my best. And Fletch, I'm not a good runner. I just tried harder than everyone else. I tell you what, I was a vomited mess after that. You probably weren't. You probably sucked it in and said, what's next? I've got to tell you, Fletch, he got pneumonia outfield, you know, basically on the eve, while doing the hardest part of the training, the off-ops week, just prior to going on his hardcore, where he's bonded with these guys for the last 8 months over Kapooka, over Singleton, to be in this position to get his Skippy Badge. Bam. And unfortunately, he got struck down. You can't fight through pneumonia. And Stoddy will tell you that. So hats off to you, mate. And I'm really sorry for your news there, and for Vicky's, which means this is stretched out until she's able to hug you full time. It's terrible. And it's horrible as an instructor when always it's your good soldiers that fall short of the line. Most of them psychological stuff now. I'd love to have a break and read some Lovecraft. Is that like Warcraft but in peace? Carl, you just got to be the best version of yourself, mate. The fastest you can get. Like I said, I got 8:40 by trying my goddamn hardest in everything I did. There was a price to pay. I ran in the morning. I ran in the afternoon. In between, I did chin-ups. When I wasn't doing chin-ups, I was doing dips. When I wasn't doing dips, I was doing push-ups. When I wasn't doing push-ups, I was swimming. And when I wasn't doing that, I was drinking and dancing. Like Kevin Bacon, bringing dance back to the town to bring it freedom. Hey, team, what have I missed? Nothing, Spud. We've just been talking about 3 different issues tonight. Long Tan Platoon is currently still out on defensive operations, the hardest week of School of Infantry. We've got Chain of Command, where we spoke about what we're seeing now is a cataclysm of opportunity for the Democrat Party in the US elections now that Donald Trump and his wife, Melania, have come down with COVID. What does that mean? An automatic stand down, get better president in a month to go. Is the 3 I see is actually Nancy Pelosi, his arch enemy, someone that puts power well before their country. At the moment, we've got people that we know from New York absolutely spitting chips, about how bad, Donald Trump is, while not addressing Governor Cuomo, who sent the old people to old people's homes without using the COVID ship to bring them back to health, saying I can sleep fine at night. They're angry at the wrong person, my friends. Anyway, I follow leadership. Leadership and policy. If the policy makes sense and the leadership sticks and you actually deliver, there's only one man I've ever known, ever, that's delivered. 2, actually. And one of them I didn't like what he was delivering. Johnny Howard. I was deeply upset when he took our guns away, and now I am too. Every time I think back to it, I wish I had a friend here. An M4. My favourite initials. They're not initials. If I can use it better than 99% of people in the country, why can't I have one? HDF, I'm also like you, mate. I cannot grow a beard. I can't, mate. See that? That's nearly 6 years right there. That is a Japanese beard if you've ever seen one. Is Mick Motors here? It's Australia every day. Your title was Chain of Command. Why is this very bad? What I'm talking about there, it's Australia Day every day. That is in reference to the Chain of Command and what's happening in the US. In the US, as we know, the Chain of Command is Donald Trump, followed by Mike Pence. Then the next one is Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi never thought that there'd be an act of God that would make her go and suddenly and potentially surge to the front. Nancy Pelosi, if something was wrong with Mr. Pence as well, could be in the president's seat tomorrow if it turned out that Vice President Pence also had COVID at the moment. Yep. Could be very bad. What it also means is this could be a case of Australian, help me, falls over on the ice, passes everyone, a Bradbury. Okay, this could be all the Republicans fall over, and I don't even see Donald Trump as a politician, let alone a Republican or whatever. He's just a centralist with big ideas, but delivers on them as well. Anyway, if they both fall over, and then Nancy Pelosi, wide for sound, Cliff Richards just skates to the front and goes, what the hell just happened with a month to go, it'd be very, very interesting. It could be very, very bad. Because if you look at what's the platform that the left is running on in America, and it will affect us very badly as well, is none of it gels with normal thought. None of it. As a matter of fact, one of their only policies is not liking their adversary. That's it. Very interesting. I think it could be horrific because they don't expect to win. So if all of a sudden they said, yep, you've won actually, what are you going to do? They're going to go, well, make up some policy pretty bloody quickly, and I bet it's not what we promised our base. Hey, Cam, thank you very much, mate. Thank you very much. Look forward to having a yak with you. See what makes you tick, sir. And you'll get a number. You know, you'll get a regimental number as part of the 10th Legion, and you'll also get the bat phone number. And I'll sort that out straight away tomorrow because there's a couple of other people that need to get their numbers too. Because as we know, I've just come back from town. Like I've just come from Newcastle to Sydney on the back of a bloody camel. That's how long it took to get down here. Welcome to Legion, Cameron, says Lauren. Fantastic. Let's throw this one out for him. We'll throw that one out for you, mate.
I accept!
They're calling you the White Warrior there, mate. Fletch, not pointless. You won't any kind of advantage when you're digging. Look, there's no advantage when it comes to digging. You can dig as hard as you want, and guess what? It feels like the ground is going down so goddamn slow. Yeah, and then you look over and one of your mates has got better ground than you. Yeah, it is a torturous thing. That's why it takes 72 hours. Yep. And you do it with an entrenching tool, not an ET tool, because that'd make it an entrenching tool. You know, if it doesn't matter if you put the rubber coating on. You know, the two things that take you down with digging, okay, is the actual the stress fractures. It feels like it happen through the bones in your hands from just continually striking the ground, hard ground, right? And the other is that when your calluses actually rip. When your calluses rip off, you know, basically all you got to do is either put alcohol swabs on them or piss on them. You know, but even then, they're going to reopen. You know, but it's just part and parcel. And you're not just digging either, team. You're also going to be doing patrolling. You're going to be doing wiring. You're going to go out to the standing patrol. We always have a standing patrol out around 800 metres to the front of our position, which means that you can have that out there, and that performs a barrier to be counter-reconnaissance, to be able to hold the threat at bay so that the main defensive position can conduct either a mind fart, so they can get out of there. Shit. A retrograde operation, swapping ground for time, doing a withdrawal. A deliberate withdrawal, and that will be rehearsed as well because we rehearse everything. One of the reasons why the Romans were mostly successful on the battlefield was they always took into account that they might lose the day. So what they had was palisades that were built, a defensive location built behind them. So when they withdrew, all they had to do was get back behind there, and then they could then carry out the defensive and break the momentum of the attacking force, winning force, surging force, so to speak. Fresh freedom. CV is Chisholm deliberate weakening of the West reference. I've got no idea what you're talking about there, mate. Jet Marshman, g'day guys. How's yours today? Jet, I would have liked a jet today, mate. It took me 5 hours to drive from Newcastle to Sydney, and I didn't get lost. That's how bad the traffic was for the long weekend. I hope you all have a great long weekend this weekend. I don't even know what it's for. But I got back to Sydney, took off at 12 o'clock, right, from Newcastle Bars, right, not Stockton, Newcastle Bars, 16 degrees, got in, freezing. Okay, and it took me until 6 o'clock nearly to actually be back after going and getting a burger and shit. So over 5 hours. It took me to drive just from 178 kilometres from Newcastle to Sydney. Crazy. Mr. Buckaroony, is he here? Hey, folks, hope you're all well. Just got home from work and the gym. Bucko, I thought you were still on your trip for another few days, mate. How's that flat tyre going? Dude, you're lucky with that. That could have ended your trip from the start. Mr. Buckaroony is a fantastic channel team. He's a North Queensland channel. The guy was a soldier. He was in Signals Corps, got a warrant officer, Squadron Sergeant Major, I believe. Also went to the cops, got out of the cops, and then went to the prisons. And now, has absolutely maintained a stellar attitude, still helps people in the four-wheel drive community, helps out people in their in his local community, etc. Mr. Buckaroony, what I meant to do was throw you a couple of $100 to buy some footballs to kick over to the Indigenous kids as you were driving on your trips. But, yeah. Scotty Byrne, what are deployment opportunities like in the first 4 years? I'd say they're at none at the moment. None, Scotty. There is no typical operational tempo anymore. We're part of the Five Eyes. We follow the backing, normally the USA. Donald Trump, despite what people think of him, is normally the opposite of what they think, and he is a non-warlike guy, and he's bringing all these people home. If he's bringing these people home, I can't see what excuse there could possibly be for Australians to be back overseas again. Does that mean that we are in the next 20 years, multiple decades of peacetime army, no policing actions? I don't know. But guess what? No one knows. No one knows. But if you compare the training, if you compare the career, if you can compare the skills, the adventure that you even get out of the peacetime army, because we train hard for the day that the glass breaks, it beats almost every single civilian job. I don't know any that it doesn't beat, hands down, from the start, from the get-go, from the jump. Be careful what you wish for. Going overseas is a great adventure, but guess what? You always come back with a few parts a bit loose after that. You do. Because you see things that you can't necessarily assist with. You see a side of society from other countries that is not what you'd call civilized. Yep. And you can't do anything about it. I need another Kraken, says Stoddy. If anyone else joined today as a member, that means Stoddy has locked him. I don't know if we want to encourage you to drink any more rum, Stoddy. You pirate. I tell you what, I'm going to give you one for Mr. Buckaroony here. I'm going to give you one on the tab. This is for you, Mr. Buckaroony, because you're always giving. This looks like marriage, mate.
It's a Kraken! Feed him a mother-in-law. That should make him happy. Welcome, calamari.
There we go. There's your Kraken, Stoddy. Have a shot. Kate and Peppers, how's everyone's weekends been? Well, it's only just begun. It's only just beginning, mate. I look forward to seeing how it goes for everyone. Yep, Joel Hurdle. I'm not allowed to answer that question on here, mate. As soon as we do, the algorithm shuts our stream down, mate. For those that are looking at Joel, here's the question he's asked is right in the centre of the screen right now. Yep, Mr. Buckaroony saying he took 17 years to get a run overseas. That's a hell of a lot of cam nets you've set up, my friend. I almost went straight away to Somalia. Got called back. I remember standing with my dad when we were seeing what was going on the phone, on the TV, sorry. And then the phone rang. And that was before mobile phone. And a lieutenant was ringing, is this Private Caswell? Yes. Which was funny because my dad was in the army too. You know what this is about? You've been watching the TV? Yep. Tomorrow be at the airport. Get back here as soon as you can and just relax. Don't lose your shit. Just get back here, see you tomorrow. Okay. We got back there. They formed us up. Wally Jensen was the major at the time. Price, I think, was the CSM, and they stood all the Bravo Company, the 2nd, 4th Battalion up, and they said there's 3 groups. Group 1, you will be going to one area straight away, and you'll be their reinforcement soldiers. Group 2, you will be the reserves and pending going with the 1st Battalion Royal Australian Regiment to Somalia. And Group 3 will tell you what you're doing in a minute. And guy Dave Hawkins, who I went through Kapooka with, got told, yeah, mate, you're going. Grab your shit. Possum, you're going. Tony Bilston, you're going. And they all went and put a hat on, and over they went to the land of the green puggaree. Kaz was in Group 3. What did Group 3 have to do? Thank you for coming back from leave. What you can do, son, is go and get your polyesters ready so you can go and do the guard duty as a lid. Yeah, great. I copped that one. Geez, I had tears coming out my eyes. I thought it was the big adventure had been missed. Little did I know, there I was. Straight after that, we went over to Hawaii. Then we went to New Zealand, Gold Eagle. I can't remember what the New Zealand trip was called. Right. Then we went over to Rwanda after that. And then it wasn't until 99 we went back over to East Timor. First trip, first guys on the ground. Then we went again in 2002, I think it was. And then in 2008, there we were as the head of security in Egypt, with a green ARE card saying you're an Egyptian citizen, maintaining the peace between Egypt and Israel for the Camp David Accords. Fantastic. Sanchez, got my assessment session on the 19th, Kaz. That's a scary one, the assessment session, because it comes across as so easy. You know why you want to join Sanchez. You've been here for a long time. You know what the roles are. You know where they serve. But the problem is you can have things with you that you weren't ready for, okay, that go pear-shaped. Is it flat feet? Is it asthma? Is it a part of a criminal record? Is it a psychological question answered wrong? Is it deemed that you're too immature or mentally not ready? And then you've got to put an appeal in, and then it's like, well, Jesus, is it worth it? It's worth it, team. A lot of people get over their appeals. And I tell you, our phone at the moment, what I did see is absolutely full of good news of people getting told the start of next year is when they're going to be given a date. And I'm very, very happy to tell you that we've got a very fit soldier who has had endless amounts of drama, the battering ram, that has now been told, you're going to leave the village. And it made me really happy to see that message, and I can't wait to talk to him too. But there's a long list of people to talk to now. Simon Powell, Miss Lauren, if there is anything I can do to help you, please let me know. Same Simon, I forced myself to put self-care first. Yep, you've got to be able to do that. Team, wait 2 seconds. I'm going to see if my sunburnt little girl, which I hope she's not, can quickly say goodnight to her dad, who's spent 4 days with me. She's probably wishing she could watch Titanic and also Poltergeist with me again at the moment. I'll stay on as long as you want me to. Let us know how long you want me to stay on. Can you just let me know here? And if you're happy with the fix now, we'll get off.
Hi, I'm getting dressed.
Oh, okay. Are you going to call me back or?
No, we talk to him now. No, I'll talk to you.
Okay, darling.
By the way, left your toothbrush here.
Oh, shit, you got my toothbrush. That's okay, I'll have a Coke. So what are you going to do tomorrow morning?
Pardon?
What are you going to do tomorrow morning? The first day of your long weekend with your mama.
Go and buy groceries.
Go and buy groceries. That's awesome. No Tim Tams. All right. Well, you go and have a good time with mama, and I miss watching the movies with you, yeah?
Yep.
And thank you for preparing my dinner last night. That was the best pizza ever.
Okay.
I love you.
I love you too.
Okay, darling. Bye-bye. Good night. Sleep well.
Bye.
The bed bugs will bite.
Okay. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
She's a good kid. She made me a pizza last night, and I could taste the indigestion like it was an ingredient. She cooked it up for me last night and forced me to eat more than what you would have if you had been in a prison. But she tried. Good job. Mr. Buckaroony, I was on the Somalia team and got cut a week from going. Still spewing. See, there you go, Mr. Buckaroony. We didn't realise, man, just how much we're going to cross. It's crazy. Is 19 a good age to join the army? I reckon, Ruben, that's close to the best time to join, because it's still young enough to be able to be impressionable and not ask questions and just be moulded, Right? Sometimes when people get in there too old, they just try to own the game a bit too much. But other times, when they're older, they're so ready. They are so close to missing this opportunity. They make great candidates. And what you get from an older person that you're going to see, because there's always a couple of older people, is they add to the command tree, to the wisdom tree. They'll be able to fix some problems, especially human resource problems happen in the lines, etc., keeping things down at the lower limits before it gets onto the radar of the section commanders, etc. So they're an asset. And we treat them like so. Yep. Unless they stuff up and then we say, you should know better. Flubba dubba. How important is work experience when joining the Defence Force, asking as an officer? Wait 2 seconds. Let's cover this off first, mate. That's seasick.
I accept.
There you go. Mate, work experience is not necessarily an important thing. I think sometimes what they use is the lack of work experience as a way to say to someone, come back in a year. It can be a way for explaining that someone doesn't have maturity. Yeah? I've seen people in that are 30 years old who are immature as hell. Who you would imagine almost a kid. And other people are 17 or 18 and tipping out at some of the best soldiers. It all depends on the person, mate. We're still a human. Don't be too hard on yourself. No one's harder on you than what you are on yourself. Even arrogant people can be pretty hard on themselves, and sometimes they're just broadcasting, projecting, the anger they have at themselves. Ferocious Freedom. Hi, Kaz. With all the extra interest in ADF, is it harder for mid-late 30s bloke to join? And mid-late 30s, I'd be thinking, mate, stay with your civvy job and go for Army Reserve, mate. That's what I'd be suggesting to you. Because depending on what corps you want to go to, no one wants a mid-30s guy beside them in a foxhole, especially infantry. There's some parts, signals would be fine. Okay, you've got transport, great. Engineers can be excellent. Intelligence should be awesome. Okay, MPs would be great. But is that what you want to do? You've just got to remember, you don't just enlist in the military to do that role. There's a lot of do they want you there either. And people want you to be there because they want people like themselves in that role. That's the way it is. Mr. Bryce, good night, everyone. My pizza has just arrived. Well done. Old mate Paul, have you got any funny Kapooka stories, Kaz? That was 30 years ago, mate. But I did have a guy called Spong. I remember him from the very first day who reckoned because of the stress he'd gone blind. I remember the fact that there was people when they used to tell us, because you never knew what corps you were going to until you actually got to the last day and they came past and read out Stott, Medic, Lauren, Transport, Caswell, Signals, what? Infantry. And sometimes I'd tell people who were going to not arms corps, they were going to infantry and they'd burst out, bawling their eyes out, shitting themselves about going to infantry. And then you see them 20 years later and they're going, fucking grunts. And you go, you were the guy who was crying. What are you talking about? What the hell's going on there? Hi, Kaz and team. Been made redundant at work, so the cow is seeing red. One door closed, next door is open. Wait 2 seconds there, mate.
I accept.
SOS. How fitting could that name be for someone who's just been redundant, mate? I'm going to tell you something in a second because it's very close to home. I don't even know what you do, SOS. Mate, are you sure that you can afford to be making a donation when you've got shit that has to go ahead? Mate, I appreciate it. But that's bad news. Is it bad news? Is it something you wanted to get out of anyway? The reason why that's a little bit distressing to me, mate, is I want to share something with you, team. The mother of my child, my reason for living, so to speak, they got called to go to work this week. Yep. And they've been working from home since COVID was here. And her team turned up, and there's your sales team. She's in Elite Office Furniture, Hayworth. It's an American firm, works out of USA. And there's the operations team. The operations team do all the work, to make the tenders, to get the job done. I don't mean chicken. Her entire team just got laid off except for her. All of them. And a lot of them weren't there long enough that their redundancy would be enough to get them to the next role while all of these zombie businesses are occurring and going out of business. So it hurts my heart to see people that are not in a position where they can afford to be told bad news. And for the young ladies that worked for my ex-partner, I know it's devastated her. And then there's like survivor's guilt on how come everyone was axed except for me, and how do I talk to them now? I didn't know they were going to get axed. Do they think that I knew? It's a terrible situation, and it's what this is the burden of command that people have to face, not in just military but in civilian role. So SOS, I don't know how to respond to that, mate. Can you please let us know what it is you did? Stoddy Infantry. There you go. Yeah, I know, Stoddy. I know. That's a tough one. And that is the most sunburnt the cow can get. Fantastic job. Thank you, mate. Robbie Kent, SOS. Can we get some thumbs up there for Robbie Kent? And if we can get some thumbs up in the like as well, that'd be fantastic so YouTube knows we exist. This is the first video for October. And guess what? We're only 1 month and 1 day of finding out the results of the US election. And if you don't think it's not going to affect you, think again. It will. Whether you like it or not. And I tell you what, there's only one winner we can afford to have, and that's the person that delivers. What's James Taylor done? Someone's in trouble. Daz. More thumbs up there. And I've seen from many a man before. Simon Powell tried to beat him there. Fresh Freedom, thanks, Kaz. Can you please share more about mid-30s joining? Righto. Once you're mid-30s, naturally, you're probably very close to being in a position where it's more about the job security, than what it is about the people you're going to be with, because chances are you already have competing family responsibility issues, etc. So the thing that they're going to ask you is, why are you joining that late? And if you join that late, why aren't you joining the Army Reserve in the regular army? If it was your dream job, why didn't you join earlier? We all know the answer to that, circumstances, etc. We all know that. But they're going to want to know what your three choices are, and your three choices will determine whether you are a bit okay, or whether you're a logical thinker and what you're saying is realistic. If you're saying you want to go to infantry and you're 35, they're probably going to go, yeah, probably not. Probably not, mate. Because they also want to get their money's worth out of you. They don't know how many miles you've got on the clock, how close to an injury you are, falling apart, Meccano set, etc. Or they're going to look at your age and go, you know what, this guy is here for the job mainly, for job security. We're probably going to have him for the rest of his life now. Let's whack him into a call where we could use him knowing that he's not likely to be someone that comes in and gets out the door just 4 years later like a 19-year-old or a 21-year-old might. So you have a lot of strengths to fall back on, but it all comes down to the three choices you make, and do they sound like logical choices, right? That's what I'd be thinking. So I'd be thinking maybe less physicality, get more technical. Armour Corps, fantastic. Engineers, even better. because engineers, you can go to the robust, dismounted side, manual labour side, or you can go to more the plant operations, right, or the technical roles, trades, etc. Yep, electricians, carpenters, working with the dogs, DMO, all that sort of stuff. What's Scotty got? All the best, OSS. Another door will open, mate. And that's the way I see it too. This YouTube channel is the door I forced open. Whoever would have thought that you'd get out of the military after 24 years and just go, I'm going to start a YouTube channel. And it gets me some flack sometimes. Not much, but some. Yeah, Ferocious Freedom. I hope so, mate. I hope so. But this is the closest thing. He's saying that Trump will get in. Don't worry, no one wants total chaos and looting. That's correct. But this is the Hail Mary, man, And what if he doesn't even survive? Imagine that. Lauren is shining. Gosh, Scott, sorry to hear someone hurt one of my kids, so I'm getting dragged through hell backwards lately. What's Scotty have to say? Where is he? Going back. Scotty! Okay, SOS saying thanks, guys, for the support. I'm okay with it. I got a payout for my 7 years service, so I have plenty of breathing space. I hope so, mate. I hope so. Let me know if you don't. Scotty Dunstan says, Lauren, got food and shelter, so just trying to be grateful in Victoria and Melbourne, so things are tough. I'm going to go back a little bit further. Sorry, team. They're down the bottom. Scotty, I don't know how far back we can go there, mate. Sorry, dudes. But it took me back to Tyler Funk, who says, hey, Kaz, of my assessment day on Tuesday, I was wondering what daily life is like for an enlisted soldier. My first preference is Armoured Corps. Okay, all I need to tell you is you'll get up and work on the vehicle. You'll go to bed working on the vehicle until you go outfield. So 7:20 turn up. You'll have your platoon or troop roll call. You have to be there. If not, you can go to jail. From there, what'll happen is you'll go and do PT. You should be going to do PT, okay, which is about the body and the mind, keeping the dog walked, so to speak. And then from there, what'll happen is you'll come back at about 8:30. You'll be finished PT, under normally section commander, troop commander guidance, or even PDI. Would you be your worst nightmare? And then from there, what'll occur is you come back and you'll do your initial training for the day, whether that be work on the vehicles, etc. That'll start at 9:30 in the dress of the day, which is normally Cam's dress of the day. If you're doing weapons, patrolling, all that sort of shit, infantry, then you'll be in webbing, patrol order, ready to go and draw weapons, etc. You might be going to the range. If you have lunch, it'll normally happen between 12 to 1 o'clock, right? And then from there, or from 12:30 to 13:30, you get a whole hour. Right, that's your second lunch, really, because you've already had 8:30 to 9:30 as well. And then you'll try to come back in the second half of the day, because always think about two halves of the day, especially the lower the rank you are, the more chances are of getting an early knockoff. And then you'll come back and they'll start discussing what needs to be done before close of play. Right? If you're going to be armoured crewman, then you're likely to never have completed all the jobs you have to do. And this is the other thing of armoured crewmen. I don't know how this is going to change. They used to be close to the hardest working people besides the engineers. Reason being, 3/4 cav, for example. They hate getting called 3/4 cav. Not quite a whole cav. Up in Townsville, what had happened is they would run maybe Alpha Company 2RAR through their operational familiarity in armoured vehicles. Then Bravo, then Charlie, then Delta, then 1RAR, Alpha Company, Bravo Company, Charlie Company, Delta Company. And now they've got 3RAR there. But we know now that not only have the companies come back down because the standard infantry battalion down to 3 companies, well, we also know that 2RAR is probably not going to use the CAV element as such. Righto? So there's less people, and then they're going to motorise, mechanise themselves. So what does CAV do? I don't even know anymore. Who's going to be in the BIC, as they'd say in New Zealand? QEs isn't operator supply. Yep, there used to be infantry QEs, but what happened was they said, no, you're not fulfilling the role of infantry, and they ripped the hat badge off their hat and said you can have an ordnance hat badge instead. Pally, Mr. Buckaroo was Air Force logistics clerk for 12 years. Yep. Fresh Freedom. We are already in WW3 with the CV up to week in the West and CV? US allies. I'm not sure what you mean there, but I bet you we could have an interesting conversation. Stoddy, if anything happened to Trump, I suspect that our normal daily lives will not be drastically changed. That political ripple has to go through all the wacky stuff happening here. We are directly attached to the US, in so many ways we don't even realise it. Whether it be the trade that has been promised us, the economic trade that is promised us, shared intellectual property, etc. It'll affect us a lot. Finance as well. Spuddy Sims, hey Kaz, just wanted to say, people train smart and recovery is just as important. That's it, but you don't get to choose that, Spuddy. Just had to pull out of Kapooka. Choco's due to a hernia. Yep, waiting for surgery. Hope to get there ASAP. You normally won't get to heal at the rate that you want to heal at. At the end of the day, there is still a requirement, a position number that needs to be filled, a mission, equipment that needs to be carried. Okay, so normally some of the things that go against it, or one of the things we need to have is robust individuals who can take a bit of pain and resilience as well. But there's a difference between being sore and being injured. And some injuries, if you try to work on them, if you don't actually point out what they are, they'll destroy you. The injury will actually beat you. And when that happens, you still won't have a job anyway, and you won't get thanked for it. You just won't have a job. You might have a pension, but that means nothing when you don't live in a locality with any of your mates, any of your friends. Jody, USA. G'day, mate. How you going? Jody Stevens in the USA. There you go. Mate, a little bit concerned about what's happening over there. You know who I barrack for. You know who I'd love to vote for if we're allowed to. But that's only if the Democrats get in, that people from other countries can vote. Mate, I hope common sense prevails. I really do. I really do. So close. Everyone, can we get some thumbs up there for the lovely lady Jody Stevens? And don't forget Matt, the Santa Claus recipient that she's married to. Still, lovely, lovely bloke. Matty. Mr. Patterson, hi, halftime Panthers up. I can't follow Panthers, man. Anyone that has brown, on their footy jersey, Scotty, good stuff. Carl, sorry to hear. Paddy Sims, get well, mate. Who's going on about the QE thing? I just Googled it. I can't remember. It was just up a little bit higher. Isaac rumbled, hey, Kaz, do you think being in the cadets gives you a head start? No. I don't think it gives you a head start. What it can do, Isaac, because you don't need to be prepared. The whole thing about going to Kapooka is you don't necessarily want to be prepared for something. You want that smack of reality that you learn the correct way. One of the things about cadets or Army Reserve when going to regular Army, it can actually, you can get training. You can get shown incorrect ways. You can shown cool ways to do shit, but not the correct way to do it, which makes it a terra firma, formal way of being trained. Because you can make up good ways of doing things, Soldier Fives, the best way to do things, but you still need a ground element of how you are taught formally before you actually learn how to abbreviate something. And what can happen is people will sometimes speak outside their lane in Army Reserve because a lot of them aren't instructors that are there. The difference being, when you go to the School of Infantry, you will go through an instructor's program to become an instructor there. To go to Kapooka, you will definitely do an instructor's program to do that. But often when you're in Army Reserve, cadets, etc., you're dealing with people that might not be up to date, or they may be someone who is stepping in to do one course, instructor one time, and that is not their sole career employment at that time. And therefore you can get some people who are a little bit uncooked, so to speak, or something to prove. Look at that, Jody. You get more than me. Rhinopolis. I haven't ever seen that one before. The face with a hand in front of it. Very nice. Daz. Laugh, no dramas, Lauren, but whoever was on about it needs a slap upside the head. Hey, Joel Hurdle, how you going, mate? Let's whack that out there. What are we going to call the blue one? Holding your breath cow.
Not so cold. Not so cold.
I accept.
Joel, what's the biggest hurdle you've come through in your life? Having a name like Hurdle. There he is. Has anyone here from Blue Mountains? Well, I'm bloody close at the moment.
Not so cold. Not so cold.
I accept.
You know what, Joel? Every time I see the Blue Mountains, every time I go up there and I look over there, Jody, you should see it. Really sorry to hear that, Rob. I'll go back and have a look what's going on with Rob in a second. Every time I go to the Blue Mountains and I look off the Katoomba, like where the Three Sisters are, I think, what happened when the bloody explorers got here and looked off? Did they go, oh, Jesus, what have we done? And we're not even a quarter of the way. It looks like just a green version of the Grand Canyon, but not as deep, of course. But imagine being up there with bloody some donkeys. Sorry, one area. Okay, Jody was saying sorry to someone. Rob, I haven't seen any family since lockdown. Not sure what they look like now. I'm not sure. Is that a good thing or not? Robbie? You got your dogs with you? Gabriel. That's a beautiful name for a guy or a girl. Kaz, I'm looking to work full-time police, but join the Army Reserve Infantry first. That's fine. I'm in my 20s. Can I grab your thoughts? Would it be worth it? I think it's a fantastic thing. You know what? You got Mr. Buckaroony on here who's been Army and he has been Army Reserve, but also police. Army Reserve and police go hand in hand. It's like free training, not for you. You get tax-free cash. But just understand that when you get in, make sure the time fits, because when you get in to the Army Reserve, you will do. You don't get taken seriously until you've done your actual training. You don't even get a uniform until you've done your training. But once you've got that and you do the police, then what occurs is you will be allocated a certain amount of time per year to go away and do Army Reserve stuff. It's a great way of facilitating police work and also keep you level-headed and stop you from getting a little bit narcissistic, approach towards the civilian populace. Because I'll tell you something. The advantage that soldiers have over police is you see police on a real power trip, and Mr. Buckaroony would have seen ones like it, where they've really got a chip on their shoulder. I'm not sure if it's because they got picked on at school, I don't know. But that could also be because they're just on the coal face forever and never get to pull up, never get a break. Whereas soldiers, we go overseas. Our threat force, we come back home and then we get to go... And the next time we go overseas, they could be a different colour, different religion, different threat force, different rules of engagement. Then we re-engage, and then we come back again and get a rest. Police don't get a rest. I would suspect the only time people get out of police is for negative reasons. Was there something happened that broke them down? Was there one incident where they got in trouble? Was there an incident where they got injured? Because if that's your dream job because your dad was a cop, you normally stay in something until something goes wrong, don't you? And after you've been in the police, they would definitely feel like us. I don't feel like I fit in anywhere. Anyone want to train together? I see what you're doing here, Joel.
Not so cold. Not so cold.
I accept.
There you go. Joel, like I was saying before, be careful about getting someone to train with, because what that can do, if you get someone that is not as fit as you, your training will settle off and you'll get comfortable where you won't really push yourself. Also, that person can become an umbilical cord where you don't train if they can't train. They may not be able to push you at a level you need to train at. You normally go and train with people that are fitter than you and push you in every way. And then it comes down to, can you keep up with that? And if they're going to be someone that can actually give you the training you need. We don't train for beep test by doing beep test necessarily. We train by doing cardio. And the best way to do cardio is put the 2.4 track out, 1.2 kilometres, spray a line, bang, racing you versus you. If you get near a rubber-coated track, even better. Push-ups, 100 push-ups a day, Kaz does, you can do that too. All right? And try to get them all out in one hit. You know, throw in dips, throw in bench press, you know, throw in chin-ups, throw in swimming. Do all those things as we move into summer. And if you don't get in the military, you know, the beach is going to win by having the best version of Joel Hurdle there with his chassis, the corn chip inverted. Hey, VM. G'day, mate. I don't know how to pronounce that. Sorry, mate. Can't be thought. Kaz, thoughts on the best leader of Rome? Oh, shit. Marius? Caius Marius, maybe? You know, is it who won in a clench? Who won in a clutch position? Could it have been momentarily? Could it be Octavian? Right? Would it have been Scipio Africanus when he beat Hannibal? Would anyone have beaten Hannibal? Don't know. Was it Julius Caesar who beat Pompey, an undefeated general at the time, a consul who had a larger army than him and trained exactly the same way? And Julius Caesar beat him with a smaller army, you know, as an unchecked general. I like to think Trajan was awesome as well. You know, Trajan's column fought the Dacians, you know, made one of the greatest bridges in the history of the world, then burnt it through Apollodorus, the famous engineer from Greece. Maybe it could be Julius Caesar still because of what he done against Vercingetorix. Okay, at help me out, Vercingetorix. He beat him at. I've done a historical bloody presentation on it. 250,000 soldiers they believe he defeated. Celts, help me, Mr. Buccaroony. Help me. Let me get back to that one. And that was a classic example of a force using a inner and outer cordon, defeating an enemy on two sides. He was it closed an enemy in, trapped him in, Vercingetorix, and then also defeated the QRF that was nearly 10 times the size of his army. Caligula, a leader for the masses today, one of the best pawn leaders. Tony the Ram, we're talking about you before. Tell us the news, mate. He's already told me. We've got good news. Tony the Ram and I have spent a lot of time pulling our hair out. As you can see, I've got a lot to pull out. Fantastic head of hair for someone who's about to turn 50. No grey. Come on. Who's got it? Asterix and Obelix. Keep the cartoon out of it. Caligula. No. Jesus. Help me out. Jesus can't help me out. The Romans got him too. Biggest battle. It was on a plateau. Anyway. Tony Ram, I lost hair over it, mate. But we sort of knew it was going to come through. We just didn't know when. And now it's come through again. How much more hair are we going to yank, mate? Tip the likes if you can there, team. We haven't got too many on there. Carthage, no, it wasn't Carthage. That was sad what happened to Carthage. You read what happened to Carthage. Holy shit. The 3 wars they had with Carthage, and the third time, separate every brick. And they never had a choice, because one part of the military crackdown on Carthage after losing twice to Rome was you're not even allowed to have a standing army anymore, like Germany, when they weren't allowed to have an army, and now they've got like the police force, etc. So is Japan. I just heard Japan. Basically, it wasn't Masada, but I've been to Masada. That was against the Jews. I'm talking about, it was in France. 250,000 Celts were up against them. Vercingetorix was the leader. Put in there Vercingetorix, and from there, what'll come up, and I'll kick myself when you tell me what it is. Going to be off now, Kaz team. Hamish, no dramas, mate. They got ruined completely. The Romans, whenever they did lose, they came back. That was what made them tough. You know, it's like a champion that loses a fight, but then he comes back and becomes a champion again. That's a true champion. Yep. Alessia, Of course, Flubba Dubba, well done, comes through. The Battle of Alesia. It is amazing. And as it says, Julius Caesar also was part of the QRF that went in there, to go and save the day, so to speak. If they'd have had any more, Battle of Cannae was a fantastic one, but it's not the same one. No. Cannae, that was actually Carthage as well, wasn't it? Cannae. No. Cannae was where they got destroyed by Hannibal. I believe they lost nearly 80,000 legionnaires in that fight. I would choose Scipio Africanus, Tony the Ram. He knows his generals. When Scipio Africanus went and fought Hannibal, he was already in the big dramas. They wanted him to come home. Yep. There was fighting happening at home. And Scipio Africanus stood up against Hannibal, who was an undefeated general at the time. Scipio Africanus and Hannibal apparently had met each other on the battlefield and come to an understanding this doesn't have to happen. And Scipio Africanus said, yes, it does. Because that's the way Rome is. We will come back at you until you're defeated.
I accept!